Well, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the show. Sean Seward, president of XMC here, bringing you another episode of XMC Expert Moments. And really excited about today. Today, it's my pleasure to have Duncan Williams on the show. Duncan is president of Duncan Williams, Inc., which is really a full-service investment firm headquartered here in Memphis, but supporting clients all across the U.S. Duncan, appreciate your time today. Thanks for coming on.
Well, Sean, happy to be here. Hope you and the family are doing well, and hope everybody out here listening, their families are doing well.
Yeah, absolutely, and you as well. So let's just jump right in, if you don't mind, because this is a real exciting conversation to have. And anybody from Memphis or West Tennessee, I think is, unless they're not paying attention, is very familiar with Duncan Williams' brand and the storied history. Very, very recognizable brand here locally and beyond. Could you provide a little background for those that may be outside this geography of the company and really your associated journey up to this point?
Sure, Sean. Well, the story behind Duncan Williams is, one, we just celebrated our 51st anniversary, April 1st, which can tell you a little bit about how my mom and dad thought. But to start a company on April Fool's Day, I'm not sure that they thought we would be here 51 years later. My father passed away in '89. I was a junior, finished up my junior year at the University of Alabama. So that changed a lot of plans. Came back to Memphis early 90s after working in Birmingham for a few years. My mom continued to run the broker-dealer firm, had great people around us. I took over as president in 2000 and somehow hadn't screwed it up yet. So we're going on, but it's, we're full, basically fixed income investments is what we major in. Probably 90% of our business with institutional clients all over the country. We started as a municipal bond firm. Is how my dad started in 1969, and we've grown into being what we are now, which is really one of the largest women-owned firms in the country.
That's fantastic, and I appreciate that. Obviously you guys have a core business focus in the financial sector, but I think outside of that, one of the things that I think is most admirable when I really think of the Duncan Williams brand is really the impact that's been made inside the community and really the commitment to that. I know that's really been one of the key pillars for your organization. And just for the audience here, can you share really the passion behind that and really where that originated from?
Yeah, so I think our passion as far as where the company is and where the family is, it has always been about our community, right? It's easy to get behind a sports team. It's easy to get behind a lot of things. It's not so easy to always think about the kids that need help, about the arts. Every great city in the world has great arts. And so we put a lot of stuff into our children and into the arts program. And, at Duncan Williams, we have really our calling is do well. And that kind of goes like this, right? If our clients do well, our salesmen will do well. If our salesmen do well, our company will do well. If our company does well, our community will do well. And it's really that simple. So just those two words, do well, and it's meant a lot to this city. It's done a lot. You see it a lot. Duncan Williams Asset Management, part of our what we are is serve our clients, but improve our community. And so we build that into, who we are and what we are from day one. The culture is to improve our community and everything we do. And we believe that. And I think the people here who have worked here for a long time and for a short time, they hold their shoulders back because they know we really give back to the community a lot different than most financial brokerage firms do. Absolutely.
I know I see your involvement and the organization involvement. It seems like everywhere I look inside the community. But just to bring some clarity, I know you guys you got a lot of passions. You mentioned the arts. What really inspired your focus in the art piece? Because you said people get behind a lot of things, and when you look at the impact the arts can make, I know you guys have made a big difference there.
I don't know if there was anything. I mean, I'd love to tell you I was some classical singer or could play guitar, and maybe I've tried all that, but not very good at it. I think if you go back in history and you look at the cities that succeed, and the cities that make a difference, and the cities that will make a difference, the arts are going to play a big part of that. We know the generation that's coming up, it's important. They want to be around cities that have a very good culture, a very spread out culture, different opportunities to do. So I don't know that there was one real thing, Sean, that said we need to get involved with the arts. It just kind of became a calling card of something that we liked. And if you look at all the way from dragon boat races to Indie Memphis to Live at the Garden to GPAC, we really touched the artistic community, and not just the artistic community, we touched all parts of the community, all the way from the river out to the, east part of the county.
Absolutely. And just to take that one step further, I know, speaking of the focusing on the children, you guys are very active at St. Jude's and Ronald McDonald House. What are some of the initiatives you're involved in there? Well,
the greatest resource I think this country has, and I know for sure that Memphis has, are our children. And they have to that the education wise of it. But my God, when you have the children we have are being served at St. Jude, and what LeBonner does here, and I serve on an advisory board at St. Jude, and when you come out with a statement of we're going to cure childhood cancer, it doesn't get any bigger than that. So to be able to help the families that are here, that to in a bad situation, to make that as comfortable as we can, we do. And obviously what St. Jude is doing around the world is hugely important. What LeBonner does here is hugely important. The whole real children's, you could say that Memphis in some ways is really ground zero for children's medicine, especially when it comes to the cancer side of it.
No doubt. I know for me personally that holds a special place in my heart. My brother was in 1983 when he was diagnosed with leukemia. And back then, St. Jude was just a tiny little, I say tiny, it seemed big at the time. It was just that
right.
One main building that was about 7 stories tall with Danny Thomas standing in the lobby.
Yeah.
It's amazing what that facility has grown to with people like your assistant. So that's fantastic. Well, let me pivot for just a second to when we look at providing that outreach from the inside out as organizations. If businesses like XMC has what's called XMC Cares program, where we are focused on where we can make impact. From your standpoint, how as business owners or business members do we find the right nonprofits to align ourselves with? What's your recommendation on the best strategy there?
So really, I think the best strategy for business owners for as far as nonprofits is you got to go where your heart is. It's a tough time for people, but we got to have nonprofits and we've got to support them. And you've got to, it's when you reach down a little bit. And I understand businesses have had to close and businesses right now can't do it, but there are plenty of businesses that are sitting in their office every day. And so I think for me personally, I feel a little bit more responsible for making sure that a lot of the nonprofits, especially ones that we support, know we're here and do what we can to help. And DWAM especially, we're promoting nonprofits every day on on the social media side. It's not about gaining customers now. It's not about adding to the managed money we have. It's really about helping people. And I think really that's the kind of what you got to take. I think your heart and soul right now has to be about what can we do for our fellow community leaders? What can we do for our nonprofits? What can we do for our employees? I think all that comes into play when we're making our decisions on what we do and how we do it.
No, I think that's beautifully said. And really, just to take that one step further, I know you guys have initiatives inside DWAM where you really challenge employees to get involved on their own. What are some of those expectations? Because I really think they're best practice.
Well, I mean, some of the expectations that I've had when people come to DWAM, and it really started, 4 or 5 years ago, is that you really are required to be involved with nonprofits in the community. So let's say we've asked you to be involved with 2 to 3 to 4 nonprofits, and we want you to be involved. So we did a thing called speed dating, as I like to call it, and we brought nonprofits in and we let them talk to the employees. So, I mean, some of these employees were not from Memphis, so they needed to learn what the nonprofit world looked like also. Well, all of a sudden you do that over years, and you're going to be affecting 30, 40, 50, 60 nonprofits in our community with smart, young people, people who want to help, people who understand that our culture is one of giving back. If you don't like it, I get it. It's not a normal model. It's not a normal thing that financial services people do. And there's plenty of other opportunities to go somewhere else. But if you're going to work for one of our companies, you're going to give back to the community.
That's fantastic. So it was really about bringing those opportunities in, as you said, a speed dating, right, where people could find, as you said, really where their heart was and what they could get passionate behind. That's awesome.
I mean, Sean, people are different, right? And you can have Humane Society in there, Ronald McDonald House, and somebody's going to love each one of those things. Well, you want to direct that person to that, right? You want them to go there. You want them to make sure they're in that niche that they like and they love, because if not, I mean, things that are done at 50% or 60% aren't successful. I mean, you've got to really want to do it, and that's important.
Absolutely. And obviously, money is what drives the nonprofit growth that's out there. But, especially in today's times too, maybe there's some people out there that don't have the financial ability to contribute. But what can businesses or individuals do, as you see it, to support their community outside of just financial giving?
What can businesses do? What can individuals do? I mean, we're encouraging all our employees to once again, find that niche, whether it's the church, whether it's their community centers around them, whether it's the food bank, whether it's go give blood. I mean, how lots have we heard go give blood and how important that is? There's plenty of opportunity to help right now. It doesn't have anything about giving money. I mean, that people need help. People need support. I don't care if it's going where you can go and clap for all the emergency workers and first responders that are coming out. I mean, there's things we can do that are out there that if you just doesn't take a whole lot of looking, just a little bit, you're able to help in all kind of different ways.
Absolutely. And, if we took the time period of maybe pre-COVID and then our current state in the middle of COVID, pre-COVID, as a native Memphian, what do you feel are the biggest needs in Memphis right now from a community impact standpoint? Where can people make a difference?
I think the biggest needs are people need to get tested. And whether that, I mean, I think if you continue to listen to, and maybe I say it the wrong way, not tested, to find out more information. You listen to the doctors and we have calls at Chamber with the business leaders and the more we can find out about this, what it means and what it is, the better. So I think we've got to keep testing. We got to keep finding out what exactly this COVID-19 is and how we treat it. People need food. I mean, the food bank is running short. People need, you supplies, any way you can help in that kind of way. I mean, there's people just need support. They need love. They need phone calls. I mean, one of the things we've encouraged all our employees to do, just reach out to somebody you hadn't talked to in a while and check in on them. Doesn't have to be a business call. We'll talk about your friends, talk about your family. Just any of that stuff is hugely important. And so I don't know that I can tell you the everything Memphis needs. I just know there's some of those that are out there that are pretty clear.
Yeah, Memphis, in times like this, Memphis is a lot like other cities. There's, as you said, if you just open your eyes and look around, there are plenty of ways to make an impact and a difference. Let me ask one more question, and that is, outside of COVID, in many cases, our greatest needs are sometimes when we're to make an impact or when we're least expecting them, like a flood or a tornado that ravaged through Tennessee and Arkansas recently.
Right.
As an organization, what is the best way, from your opinion, to create maybe, do you guys have a committee, or how do you proactively create preparedness for those things to make impact in the community before you know that it's needed?
The way we decide on what we're doing, it's a small group of managers. So I think a lot of things will change, Sean, from this. I mean, I think you're going to see more direction in that way. I can't tell you that specifically we had something set up for any kind of natural disaster. We just reacted when they happened. But I think going forward, then sure. I mean, we've already done some things for healthcare and raising money for that. And I think we're going to find out what needs to be supported, and you got to build, whether it's, you go in with the leaders of the firm and you figure out what's important, right? It's not just about what's important to my mom or what's important to Duncan. It really is important to what's important to the employees. And I can have all the great ideas in the world, but if they don't like them on the sales floor, or people don't think they're legitimate, and then guess what? They're not going to work. So we really try to build support inside to me. So we'll go and whether it's surveys, whether it's talking to, where do you think we should show the support? And it's amazing. I'll give you an example of kind of what I'm talking about. So we did a thing for our anniversary, April 1st. It was called Dine with Duncan and Mom, as we call my mom. And we were going to give every family just $50 because we want to support the local restaurant. So you pick a restaurant, we'll cover $50, whatever. 80% of the people that we sent it to said, don't give us, send it to somebody who needs it. And so the point was, that immediately told me, you know what? There's a ton of people in this office that are looking out for the healthcare workers or the frontline workers or whomever that may be. So let's find out who that is exactly, and then let's do a support fund toward them where they can all contribute that way. So it really is about learning what the employees want to do, and then as managers, taking that to the next step and making those relationships happen.
What a great story. True testament to where the heart is when they're willing to just pay that forward. That's fantastic.
It really, it's one of those proud moments, right? It's like, they're there and it's and all that, but we get so caught up in ourselves sometimes, and you put something out and they immediately come back to us and say, well, we don't need, thank you. We love $50 to eat somewhere, but by God, there's other people who need it worse than us. And to me, that's just one of those times you get kind of the goosebumps and say, this is a good group of people I'm working with every day.
This has been a delight for me. I really appreciate it. I really admire your heart for service and the impact that the Duncan Williams brand has made in West Tennessee and beyond. And really honored that we're a partner of you guys in doing business and vice versa. And look forward to continued years of supporting you and watching you guys do great things. I really appreciate your time today.
Sean, thank you. Thanks for all y'all are doing. This is a great series. Outside of me, I look forward to hearing the real experts out there and hear what they have to say. But just awesome stuff y'all are doing, and I think it's so important. I think it's the more we can hear, the better, and we all know that. So thank y'all, and just happy to be here and always happy to help any way I can. Thanks a lot, Duncan. Really appreciate it. Yes. Thanks, everybody, for listening in with XMC Expert Moments. Again, very appreciative for Duncan being with us today. Everyone stay safe, stay healthy, and be well. Right, Duncan? That's right. Do well.